Welcome to ESOC's video training series. Today we will be covering how to use the ESOC Series 455 fuel primer machine. This machine was developed for Detroit diesel fuel systems such as the DD series engines along with all other diesel engines. Some of the many benefits of using the 455 fuel primer machine are: it is easy to use, primes fuel systems in seconds, eliminates the need for hand priming, and is safe for the environment. The Series 455 offers the following features: drain fill switch, switch for preset 95 psi or adjustable prime, fuel dispenser, CompuCheck adapter, adjustable prime pressure knob, tool tray, 5-gallon onboard tank giving a 3-minute prime, 3-foot draw tube, flow control valve, sight gauge indicators with ball float, fuel filter, and 9-foot suction hose. The ESOC Series 455 fuel machine is used to drain and fill fuel filters, fuel water separators, and fuel modules during a preventative maintenance service or a required change. This all-in-one machine safely recycles fuel and prevents unnecessary fuel spills, which will save you time and money that is wasted on fuel costs and cleanup. Prior to starting a service using the 455, you will want to make sure the onboard tank has fuel in it. We will now cover the procedure to fill the onboard fuel tank. You will begin by checking the sight gauge on the 455 fuel tank. The fuel level will need to be at the max level shown on the tank for DD series engine prime level to perform the 95 psi prime. Note the orange ball in the sight gauge and monitor this while the onboard tank is filling. As you can see, we have already inserted the draw tube into the fuel tank. The technician will now take the suction fill hose and connect it to the draw tube. Next, the technician will connect the air supply to the machine. Flip the drain switch to on and open the flow control valve. You will see the fuel entering the hose and being transferred to the onboard tank. And as you see, the orange ball float will begin to rise. Again, monitor this until it gets to the max level. While the tank is filling, you can monitor the vacuum level of the onboard tank using the gauge on top of the control box. This reading should be around 15 Hg. You can also monitor the vacuum level of the fuel being pulled from the fuel tank. The gauge for this reading is located next to the fuel filter on the machine. This vacuum pressure will be higher than that of the tank and the reading will be around 25 Hg. As you can see, the orange ball float has now reached the max prime level, and it should be monitored closely until it reaches the max fill level, as this will only take a few more seconds. As soon as the orange ball float reaches the max fill level, close the flow control valve. You will now flip the drain switch to off, and we are now ready to prime the engine. We begin our priming procedure by disconnecting the suction fill hose from the draw tube. You will then take the CompuCheck adapter from the tool tray and connect it to the suction fill hose. Take the CompuCheck adapter and attach it to the fuel module on the vehicle. Make sure your connection is secure. The air supply should still be connected to the 455. Verify that at this point in time. You will then want to flip the switch to the preset 95 psi prime on, and then you will open the flow control valve. Make sure that you open the flow control valve slowly so as not to shock the fuel system. Once the flow control valve is fully open, the engine is being primed. We can monitor our fuel pressure with the gauge by the fuel filter. As you can see, the reading should be around 95 psi. In addition, we can monitor the air pressure with the gauge on the control box. This reading will be higher and could fluctuate, but should be around 120 psi. Make sure to monitor your gauges for any fluctuations that might indicate problems. While the engine is priming, watch the sight gauge on the machine as the level drops. When the level finally drops down to start engine, at that point in time you will want to start the vehicle's engine and let idle until the level drops to turn off primer. Once the orange ball drops to the start engine level, you will want to start the vehicle. As you will notice, the engine should fire right up. Allow the engine to idle naturally for around 1 minute. Meanwhile, monitor the machine and the orange ball until it reaches the turn-off primer level. When the turn-off primer level is reached, you start by closing the flow control valve and then turning off the preset 95 psi prime switch. You will now idle the engine at around 1500 RPM for another minute. At this point, the engine prime is now complete, and you may disconnect the machine from the vehicle.